We're in June. We're halfway through the year 2024. And you're now realizing that your New Year's resolutions, they were nothing more than new week resolutions. And now you need to find something else, because that list didn't work. Now you need to find something else that will help you to actually achieve those goals, or some new goals that are more practical before the year ends. You got 6 months. But guess what? I got you. So if you're one of those persons who year after year after year after year, you create your New Year's resolutions list and it's longer than your supermarket bill, but you never seem to achieve anything, or if you do, it's either by a fluke or it's not that major. If that sounds like you, just maybe, you might want to stay for this video where I'll explain to you my vision board process and how I link it to another process in order to actually achieve my goals. Hi, I'm Kimani and welcome to my channel, Hauling This Together, where we talk about all things personal growth, organization, and productivity. So if any of these things sound like something that you're into, then you might want to stick around, subscribe, and join the family. Okay, so in this video, I'll be showing you guys or talking to you guys about all things vision board. And I'll be explaining to you literally how to take that list of things that you want, or even if you have a vision board right now that's not working for you, we're about to fix all of that, right? But before you do that, I'm going to suggest that if you haven't already, go check out last week's video, which I went in detail about how to actually plan the life that you want, or the year that you want, or to plan to achieve those goals that you want. I did that video last week, and that is definitely the step one to achieving the goals that we're going to talk about in this video. So if you haven't watched that yet, you can check the iCard right here and it will literally take you right there. Or you can just go browse my page and check out my other content. Like, I'm not complaining. But yeah, if you have watched that video, however, let's get right into this one. And if you're saying, Kimani, I can't be bothered, I don't want to watch that video, then come back to this one. If you don't know what goals you're planning for, how else are you gonna envision them? And if you keep envisioning these goals through vision boards and they're not working for you, darling, you're doing something wrong. So let's fix all of that. Start at the foundation, because if we have a strong foundation, the house of goals will not collapse on us when it gets to the end of the year. Okay, so go check that video out if you haven't already. Just a little bit of a backstory before we get into the actual point of the video, but I want you guys to kind of understand where we're coming from and why I'm making this video. So I've been using vision boards since 2020, I believe, possibly before then, but I've only recently started using it in a way that is actually beneficial and that actually works. When I just started vision boarding, I had the right idea, but I didn't necessarily have a good plan or strategy that went with that. I just got a bunch of things that I said I wanted to achieve, and I got a bunch of pictures, stuck them on a foam board, put it in my room, and I said, that's my vision board. So if that sounds like you want to stick around. Like, there was this time I made a vision board, and I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I have to be transparent on here. But I made a vision board and it was supposed to be for 1 year, and I didn't do the typical January 1st vision boards. I usually do them on my birthday. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn 20. I need a vision board that will end at that point, and this is what I want to achieve in my last year of teen. That 1 year vision board ended up being a 2-year vision board. I still did not achieve those things. I still have not to this day, and I'm about to be 25 next month. I've still not achieved those things because they weren't necessarily things that I genuinely wanted. When I had to change the date on my vision board because I had the deadline on there, when I had to change it to a whole year later, that made me feel like crap. I felt like a failure. I'm like, why did I even do this in the first place? Just to acknowledge that I can't achieve my goals? I felt like there was something wrong with me, because how can you set your mind to something and not achieve it? How can you have it written down? It's not just a thought in your head anymore, but you have a whole chart. Everyone that came in my house, who came in my room, saw that chart, and everyone that saw that chart and asked me what these goals meant, and I told them 2 years later, those people, maybe they don't care, maybe they forgot, but in my head, those people now know that I'm a failure too, because I didn't get those goals. So it took me a couple of years of trial and error research and just understanding myself and the way my brain and most people's brains work. That was hard to say, but I did it. It just makes so much more sense now that I have the knowledge, and that's why I want to share it with you. So in this video, I'll be telling you guys why you should be using vision boards if you haven't been using them as yet. But if you have been using vision boards and it's just not really working for you, then I'm also going to cover all the things that you are possibly doing wrong. And I can't tell you what you're doing wrong without suggesting a solution. So we'll also be covering all the things that you could be doing right or that you should be doing right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is why you should be using vision boards. The first reason is because it's a form of manifestation. It's a form of you telling the universe, telling your higher power, your higher self, God, that I'm ready for this. This is what I want. This is what I'm putting out there. And this is what I'm attracting. This is what I want to receive. It's like when you take your goals or your plans from out of your head, it becomes so much more real than just a thought in your head. And so it's the first step to manifesting your dreams, your goals, your desires. The second reason is that it makes you so much more aware, and it kind of starts it's like a domino effect. So you become aware and then it triggers the thought process of where you are, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. I'm more aware of it. I'm more conscious of it, and it's not just there anymore as, you know, something lingering in my subconscious. The third reason, and this is actually one of my favorite things, I'm a visual person. When I see those things there and I sit back and I look, oh my God, and I start to envision what my life will look like after I've achieved those things, I start thinking about that Kimani 2.0. I don't know, but it's like a different feeling when I can visualize who I want to be and I can see it. I'm like, oh, this person has that. This person did that. Like, I don't know about you, but that does something to me, and it kind of drives me. It motivates me to want to be that person more and more, because I'm like, her life, her life is way better than my life right now. I want that life. Like, I don't compare myself to others. I compare myself to me. I compare myself to my past self so that I can see how far I've grown. And I compare myself to my future self so that I can see where I'm going and be motivated, be inspired by the Kimani that is to come. Another one that I really love, which I'm actually doing right now on my social media in a different way with my 100 days of consistency, but it keeps you accountable. When you have something to show that this is what you should do or this is what you're doing, I don't know, you don't want to break that cycle. You don't want to disappoint yourself now, because it's not just the thought that you can forget, but it's something physical. It's there reminding you that, okay, this is what you should be doing. Remember, this is your goal. You got 3 months left. And then this one is another one of my favorite reasons. When something looks good, when it's pretty or attractive, then all I want to do is stare at it. And when I'm continuously looking at it, it's going to keep reminding me that, Kimani, this is what you should be doing. So when I started doing all of this and it started working, I had two persons say two different things to me that actually stood out in my mind. And that was years ago and it's still there. But my brother-in-law / father, Ali, said to me that, I don't know about you and I don't understand that about you, but whenever you say you're gonna do something or you record it, you put it out in the universe and it seems to work for you. So keep doing that. And then this other person said to me that I realized that when you say that you want to achieve something and you give a name to it, or you put a title or some form of structure to it, you always seem to achieve it. Because that was like 5 years ago and I made a mission to get to Kimani 2.0. Yeah, it's not a reboot, but it is when I really got serious about my self-development journey, and they saw that and I couldn't even see it for myself, but it made me realize what I was doing and what was working. And now let's talk about what you might be doing wrong. And I say these things because I used to do these things wrong too. And if I used to do it, chances are there's at least one other person out there who's doing it or who used to do it and you can relate. The first thing is that you're creating a vision board that is just not practical. So one of the things that I did one of the times I made a vision board years ago is that I just went online and I searched for a list of goals to achieve this year. And I'd have like 13 different things that I'm like, I'm going to achieve these things this year. No, I did not. No, I didn't, because it wasn't a practical list. I wasn't even really interested in them, to be honest. They just sounded good. And that's also my second point. Don't add things because they sound good or they would look good. If you're not interested, if you don't have a serious why to motivate you to actually go get it, you're not going to go get it. You create your vision board and then you forget about it. So you're excited it's your birthday, or you're excited it's the first day of the year, and you're like, I'm gonna make a vision board. So you made your vision board, but within 2 weeks, within maybe 2 months, you forgot you even had a vision board. How can you make the board do the board's thing if you don't know where the board is? You're not seeing the board because you made it and you stuffed it in your closet. Like, how do you expect it to work? Create a list of visions, a list of goals that you added to your vision board, but you don't have a plan or a strategy or the know-how. It doesn't work like that. I would love if it did, but it doesn't work like that. This final one is that you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe that you can actually achieve these goals, and you just created a vision board just because. If any of those things that I said you're doing wrong, you are actually doing wrong, don't worry girl, I got you. Now I'm going to go into all the things that you should be doing instead if you were caught in that last part where I'm telling you all the things you could possibly be doing wrong. So the first thing, but this is the most important thing to do, go watch my last video. Like seriously, go watch that video because I will go in detail, and when I say detail, I mean detail. The next thing is ensure that your goals are practical, reasonable, realistic, and obtainable. Don't just make goals just because you need to make goals, but ensure that they are SMART goals. Another thing that you should be doing if you're not doing is to ensure that your vision board is always in sight. For me, the first couple times I did this, I ensured that I had my vision board on a big chart in my room. However, something that I've found to be a lot more effective, which is what I'm doing right now, doing this year, is I've created in Canva my vision board, soft copy, and I have it as my phone screen saver, and it acts as a double. It's like motivation and inspiration on one hand, and the other hand it's like guilt trip. So whenever I'm about to go on social media just to waste time and I know that I have things to do, I see the screensaver and I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be on Instagram watching reels for 3 hours. Another one is ensure that your visions or your goals are actually your goals and not somebody else's. Don't just put it there because your mother wants you to do this or daddy wants me to be this. Don't do that. You're not going to do it, and you're going to feel so horrible after when you realize that, oh, I made this goal, I made this vision board and I didn't get it because you weren't interested, love. You really weren't. So why would you put it on there? Don't put I want to travel more or I want to travel to 10 places because somebody on social media did it and you're like, oh, that looks good. That's their goal. That's not your goal. If you're not interested, just don't add it. The next thing that I will say also is that ensure that your visions or your vision board has a time cap. So ensure that there's a deadline. So don't just put all your life's vision on there and be like, okay, these are all the things I want to do. When I do that, I can get to check those things off and feel like I'm making progress. But imagine I made my first vision board at age 18. Right? And I'm 25 now and I'm still looking at the same vision board. I just feel like it's going to be so daunting. Like, am I achieving anything off of this? And you spend your entire lifetime looking at that same vision board, hoping to achieve all those things. I just feel so much more accomplished at the end of the year or on the next birthday when I can be like, I did all these things. I get to check it off and I get to discard that old vision board and make a new one. And my last tip, which is the most important tip, believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, believe that you are enough and that you deserve to achieve those things. And I promise you that that shift in mindset will actually propel you way more than you can even imagine at this point. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you liked it and if you made it to the end, thank you. Also, if you're not subscribed and you like the kind of content that I'm posting, then stick around. Turn on your post notification bell and all those things so that you can be alerted whenever I make an upload, which is every single Saturday. So see you guys next week, where I show you this one single app that I use every day since last year that organizes every single aspect of my life, so that I'm not juggling like 7 different apps to try and organize and plan my life. So if you're interested in seeing that, you might want to stick around until next week. But until then, just remember to do something today that will help you to be a little bit better than you were yesterday.